Imagine spending decades meticulously crafting a persona of unshakable authority. You've built a career on being the man in the suit, the voice of the halls of power, a leader whose words are meant to be taken as gospel. But then, under the unforgiving glare of live television, one man shatters that glass house with nothing but a smirk and a few sharp truths. As the cameras rolled, the world watched a political titan lose his footing. We saw the beads of sweat, the trembling voice, and the raw, unfiltered anger of a man who realized his mask was slipping. This isn't just about politics, it's about the moment the world stops believing a lie. If you want to see exactly how a single spark of truth can bring down a fortress of ego, stay tuned. You cannot afford to miss what happened when the lights stayed on and the script ran out. The atmosphere inside the Washington news studio was thick with a tension you could cut with a knife. On one side of the desk sat Adam Schiff, polished, prepared, and ready to deliver his usual sermon of moral superiority. He carried the air of a man who believed he was untouchable. On the other side sat Greg Gutfeld. Greg wasn't interested in the political theater, he was there to play the role of the ultimate disruptor. While Schiff adjusted his tie and checked his notes, Greg sat back with a mischievous glint in his eye. To Schiff, this was just another interview to sell a narrative. He didn't realize he was walking into a psychological battlefield where his greatest weapon, his perceived dignity, was about to be turned against him. The conversation started predictably. Schiff began his familiar routine, invoking secret evidence, threats to democracy, and the same talking points he's recycled for years. His voice was filled with a practiced, dramatic melancholy, as if he were the last man standing on the bridge of a sinking ship. But then, the air left the room. Greg Gutfeld leaned in and asked the one question Schiff wasn't prepared for. Adam, is that bombshell evidence in the same closet where you locked your political honesty? It wasn't just a joke, it was a cold bucket of water over a man who had been living in a fever dream of his own making. Schiff's face turned a deep, heated red. The statesman disappeared, and in his place was a man erupting in fury. He began to stammer, his voice rising to a frantic pitch as he accused Greg of being unserious. But the more he yelled, the more he looked like a man who knew the game was up. What happened next was pure television gold, and a political nightmare. As Schiff shouted about his service and patriotism, Gutfeld didn't shout back. Instead, he did something far more devastating, he played the receipts. One by one, old clips appeared on the screen, years of Schiff promising evidence that never came, years of contradictions, and years of empty rhetoric. The studio audience, which had started the night in respectful silence, began to chuckle. Then, they began to laugh. This was the emotional peak of the story. For a man like Adam Schiff, being hated is fine, but being laughed at is fatal. You could see the realization in his eyes. He wasn't being debated, he was being exposed. The raw emotion of a man losing his grip on his own legacy was visible for every viewer at home to see. It was the sound of a billion-dollar narrative shattering in real time. As the segment drew to a close, Schiff attempted to rip off his microphone before the credits even rolled. He tried to walk away, but the damage was done. Gutfeld's final words echoed in the silence of the studio. Adam, anger is never a substitute for the truth. That night, Schiff didn't just lose a debate, he lost the one thing a politician can never buy back, the benefit of the doubt. This story serves as a powerful reminder that no matter how high you climb or how many cameras are pointed at you, the truth doesn't care about your title. When you build a house on a foundation of sand, it only takes one wave of reality to wash it all away. In a world filled with noise, propaganda, and manufactured outrage, this moment between Schiff and Gutfeld is a beacon of hope. It proves that courage, the simple courage to call out a lie to its face, is the most powerful tool we have. Schiff's eruption was a sign of weakness, while the truth remained calm. Always remember, you will meet people in your own life who try to bully you with their status or drown you out with their shouting. Stand your ground, stay calm, let the truth do the heavy lifting. Because in the end, the light always finds its way through the cracks. If this story moved you and you believe that truth should always prevail over theater, hit that like button right now. Tell us in the comments, do you think we've reached a turning point in holding leaders accountable?